What is your reaction there, and how do you think it is going to play on the streets in your cities across Oklahoma, particularly Tulsa, where the president will come?
You know, I was listening to the section before, and some George Floyd's brother said that he was tired, and my first reaction was, I too am tired, and I'm confused because I think, don't they know that the eyes of the world are on them? People are protesting police brutality, and that some police officers don't recognize it and are continuing to perpetuate brutality is confusing and confounding for me.
And I want to bring in Mia Love, who's a former Republican congresswoman from Utah, also a CNN contributor. Thank you so much for also being here. What was your reaction to what we're seeing in Atlanta, to the killing of Rayshard Brooks?
Well, it's absolutely devastating. I looked at the video. I watched some of the professionals that were commenting on it, police officers, and I think that what's unfortunate is that I believe that this man could have been subdued. He obviously didn't have a weapon, but there's this indifference that's going on, where a lot of Americans are looking at this and they think, oh, that's too bad, but that wouldn't happen to me. And I think that that's where we need to stop. People really need to get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. First of all, I'm having conversations with my son about what could happen if he's riding his bike to the park and he's stopped by a police officer. It's unfortunate to have those conversations, but it has to happen. Americans need to have conversations with each other of all color, saying, when I look at something like this, do I step back and say, even though I'm not racist myself, I'm not going to do anything about it because it's not my problem, it's not going to happen to me? And also police officers have to have a conversation and say, what would I want a police officer, or how would I want a police officer to treat this person if it were my child, if it were my brother, if it were my sister? And I think until we can look at these problems systemically and inside of these communities and really look at the ugly, that we're not going to be able to fix it until we're able to do that.
And Alicia, tell me about how you think that the state of Oklahoma, the city of Tulsa, is going to greet the president. They say that they've already had more than 300,000 people offer or ask to buy tickets. It's certainly, if you look at any past rallies and the intensity of the president's base, it's going to be a packed house. What about on the outside? How aggressive do you think that the anti-Trump protesters will be?
Okay, so there was a lot to unpack there. So the facility holds 19,000 people. I have no doubt that more people than 19,000 requested seats. I do reserve some doubt that it's 300,000, but it's, to me, it's sort of like the crowd. What I know that Tulsa is prepared to do is there are many peaceful rallies, there are many meaningful conversations, meaningful forums for conversation all over the city and really all over the state in preparation for the president's visit. So he will be greeted by his supporters for sure. Tulsa is known for its peaceful demonstrations, and I suspect it'll be something like that. But there will be a response on both sides, absolutely.
And Congresswoman, let's talk about where you worked here in Washington on Capitol Hill. Both parties are really trying to play up the fact that they have police reform legislation that they're discussing. There are some big differences between what the two are discussing, and we can put some of them on the screen. I mean, just the Democrats require reporting of force data. That is the same as Republicans. Anti-lynching provision, that's the same, but the Democrats want to ban no-knock raids. Republicans want to review it, and so on and so forth. But one thing that struck me is that your former colleague, your former Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy, said that he was okay with banning chokeholds. What does that tell you, knowing him and knowing how that kind of plays into the Republican conference about where it is right now on these issues?
Well, I know Kevin, and he is incredibly at least, and he is trying to let people know that, look, there may be some out there that are a little outspoken, probably don't think about proportionality before they don't think about things that they say before they speak. And he's a little more thoughtful. He knows how he wants the GOP to be portrayed, and so he's going to try and consider everything he possibly can. But I think
he'll win the day?
fundamentally, I hope so. I really do. I really hope that he can get to look. He didn't get to leader just by sitting back. He's actually pretty influential, and so I think that I respect him. I know him. I know he's trying to do the right thing, and so I hope he does win the day. But I really do believe that at some point we look at the mayor Stephen Reeves and the mayor Keish Bottomlands and really give them the tools and the ability to police or to decide what those reforms look like. Because as a former mayor myself, I knew that having outside police law enforcement really wasn't going to help my city, that we needed to do everything we could to bring it in-house, make sure that the police that were in our community were people that were living in our community.
Thank you so much. Mia Love, Alicia Andrews, appreciate you joining us on this.